Now, let's get to your book, the Hierophant, because I know you've just released this recently. You've been working on it, I believe, for a while.
Well, you know, I started this when I was actually 17 years old. I was this was my follow-up to my great senior year thesis. I wrote a novel when I was a high school senior.
Wow,
it was more of a novella. It was more of a novella because it was less than 150 pages. But then this was like the next book I was doing. And I've just been rewriting it and rewriting it and rewriting it. So, I mean, I started this book before I was a comedian. I mean, I was writing this, I was writing this, it was 30 years.
And now, just for folks who are listening and stuff like that, what is a Hierophant? What is the book about?
Well, it's someone with divine wisdom. I mean, we're talking about religion here, and it's a novel. It's a fictional story, but it's kind of based loosely on sayings from the Upanishads, the Bhagavad Gita, the Old and New Testament, and it takes a lot of religious sayings attributed to prophets over the years, and it kind of takes the religion out of it. It uses the words to kind of, because I mean, the problem, a lot of religions have the basis of what their sayings are. There's a lot of truth to it, but what happens is the prophet dies, the followers take over the business, and you know, they just really run it into the ground.
They start exaggerating a little bit about how good the old guy who ran the place used to be.
Well, it becomes, yeah, exactly. And it becomes just a center of power. It becomes an organization. And then the thing the religion becomes is about protecting the religion. It becomes a perpetuation of the organization and not the initial sayings.
Right.
So it's initially the story of a prophet, a priest, and a revolutionary. And
you know, this sounds like the beginning to a joke that, you know, those three guys, a prophet, a priest, a revolutionary, walk into a bar.
They walk into a novel, and and basically it's like, you know, it's who's vying for power. And, you know, there's one group is vying for political power, one group is vying for religious power, and the third guy, he's not really vying for power. And the two, you know, the people fighting for power, they don't get it. The guy who doesn't fight for it gets it. But it's basically, it's really, I'm not going to say it's an attack of religion, but it's about religion, basically. It's about, you know, what people do with the sayings, you know, what's initially a good idea, it just gets run into the ground.
Right. So in this situation, your revolutionary, he's the guy who's not looking for power?
Well, no, he is looking for power.
He is, okay.
I mean, it's basically, it's a lot of the story is taken out of the New Testament, and there's basically an empire. You know, because basically history is the same thing happening over and over again.
Right.
Basically. I mean, it's the same story retold. You know, if you think of history as a spiraling staircase, you know, I mean, the same things happen over and over again. And so basically, most religions they have the same story. You know, there's a prophet figure, there's, you know, there's some power he's fighting against.
Right.
And they all have the same story. So basically what I've done is tell the story of most religions without, you know, it's all general.
There's no specific religion that's sort of at the forefront.
It's a religion. There's a temple. There's an empire, but it's not specific. It's not. So it's really a story about all religions. It's a story about all empires. It's a story about all struggles for power, and essentially, you know, it's just a story of a cycle of an epoch in history. Because as I say, the same story repeats over and over again. You just change the names of the players. You know, one revolution, you know, foments the next revolution.
Right. So if you read the book, if you're someone who picks it up off Amazon.com, where it is available, The Hierophant, which is spelled Hierophanт.
Right, and I'm James Tripp with two P's. Essentially, most religions have similar philosophies. It's not about the outside, it's about the inside. It's not about, see, that's the problem religions have is they want you to come to them. They want to be the middleman. They want to be the middleman to their God, their idea of what God is.
Right.
You know, you can get to heaven but you got to see me first. I'm God's agent. You got to come through me, or you're not getting there. And that's the problem with most religions. But most of these prophets say, no, it's not outside, it's inside. It's know the self. If you know yourself, you can know all that's knowable.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really not about going to church every Sunday and listening to a priest or listening to a rabbi or whatever. It's about going inside and meditation. It's about knowing the self. If you know yourself, you can know the self in everyone, and you can know the center of your own being. If you know the center of yourself, you know the center of all being, and you know all being. And that's essentially the message of most religious philosophies. It's know thyself. It's Socrates, or know thyself.
Right.
It's Polonius and Hamlet, to thine own self be true. That is the center of most religions. But what happens with when the religion gets organized, the center becomes the church. The center becomes the organization.
Right. And making sure the organization never loses power or position.
Right. And it becomes a series of limitations of what you can and cannot do. I mean, like most religions are against abortion because it cuts down on their religious. There's new people there. There's new, every new kid is a new, person for the religion. Yeah.
Sure. Well, like the Mormon religion has done very well at growing so fast because their families tend to have like 3 to 7 kids or something.
Right.
It's like, there you go. Your religion is growing quickly because basically if you had a religion of rabbits, you would be one of the most powerful religions on the planet quickly because they...
Yeah, I mean, that's why the Catholics were so big on, no birth control. That's why, I mean, my father's generation, they all had 10 kids.
Right.
And, after they had me, they said, we're not going to be like that.
We're rethinking this policy.
We're going to, we are Irish Catholics, but, let's not be that kind of a stereotype. You're quite enough.
I kind of like the way that you had mentioned like religion as the middleman between them and God, and like being the agent, which explains then why they get 10%.
Well, they do. I mean, and if Jesus came back, he'd need an agent. The agent would be like, the Shroud of Turin. This doesn't look like you anymore. You need new headshots.
You need new shrouds.
It would be very tough. It would be very tough to, they're all waiting for him to come back again, but good luck if he comes back again, because, they're not going to listen to him.
Yeah. A lot of the folks who claim to be following him, are asking for a lot of things that he wouldn't agree with.
Well, what they really want is for you to follow them and give you give them your money. So if he came back, it would be bad for their business.
They would have to take him out.
Well, it would be very bad. They would have to discredit him. They would have to, they'd have to say he's a false prophet. Don't listen to him. I know he looks like Jesus, but he's the false prophet, and me, I am making a prophet. So there you go. I mean, look at him. He's wearing sandals. Look at me. I've got a gold ring. Who are you going to listen to?
Who would you rather follow? Come on, people.
I mean, there's 2 ways to spell prophet, but there's only one guy who's making one.